by the power of Grayskull.
That's a big Twinkie.
This is the Serial Box Prize podcast, and we're back. And we're back in super full effect. And first of all, you know, every time I start the show, I introduce my co-host. Super tremendous and stupendous. So here we go, because we're coming back. I got my man, the action man himself, the R2D2 to my C3PO, the man that has the blueprint, the shredder to the splinter. He is my kaiju, my co-host, the one and only, the ghost with the most, Aaron Smelter.
You always crack me up with those, man, and I'm glad you called me the shredder because I like being the villain. I always love the bad guys.
Man, Aaron, I cannot believe that we are here right after 10 months, man. 10 months. Can you believe that, bro? It's been that long?
No, it's definitely gone by. It's been a crazy 10 months, and you know, it's good to be back. Let's just leave it at that. It's good to be back. It's good to get back into the groove of this. Hopefully we can make it a little bit more consistent, and let's not take a 10-month hiatus in the future.
Yeah, I'm sorry. First of all, let me just apologize to our one and only listener, and that listener that's listening in the cabin in the woods with the long hair. That one guy, that one listener that we have, our fan. No, definitely, man. I don't want to take a 10-month hiatus. You know, I had a lot going on, a lot of personal stuff going on. But, you know, I'm glad that we're back. On a side note, man, I did get COVID. Oh boy, I'll put it to you this way, man. COVID kicked my butt like Jackie Chan. Like I was out of it, you know. But I am glad that I got over it, you know. Aaron, I'm glad that your family is safe because it's been crazy, man. It's been crazy, man.
We're still dodging it. We're 2 years in. We're still doing like that Ace Ventura head bob. You know, we're like get you know, we're still haven't got it yet, you know, but we're doing good. Everybody's healthy, which is good.
Yeah, man. It's funny, man, because I was cracking up when this new variant came out. Again, you know, this is a pop culture podcast, I understand, but, you know, we're just talking about what's in the world. I don't want that one listener who's like, hey, I came here to listen to the Cereal Box Prize podcast, not politics. Well, listen, okay? This is what's going on in the world. You're going to have to listen. But, yeah, it was funny when the variant came out and they called it Omicron. And I think it was you, Aaron, that sent this to me. You're like, it sounds like a transformer.
Yeah, Omicron. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's, you know, you could picture it, you know, Omicron, the COVID transformer, you know.
He's a combiner.
yeah, that's right. He combines with humans.
I know, right? Seriously, man. But no, man, we're glad, and I'm back. You know, I'm glad that we're back. I'm glad that, you know, we're here to do what we love to do, talk about toys, movies, video games, and comic books. And speaking about us coming back, Aaron, you know what's funny? And I was thinking about this. You know, back in the 90s, every time there were sequels to movies, those films always had some cheesy rap song. You know, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
right.
You know, like Vanilla Ice for Ninja Turtles 2 had like Go Ninja Go, you know. And first of all, how the hell does Vanilla Ice improvise a rap song in the middle of a club while the turtles are fighting like foot soldiers? You know, like who comes up like, he's like, yo, it's the Green Machine, gonna rock the house without being seen. First of all, how does he even know that they're the Green Machine? Like,
he made them the Green Machine. He trademarked that. You know, but I mean, it's genius marketing because, like, out of the whole movie, I mean, that's the one thing that you remember when you walk out of the movie theater. I think we all did when we were, you know, 8 or 9 years old or however old we were when we saw the movie, you know, like, go ninja, go, you know, like, that's like the one thing, you know.
No, it was awesome, man. Yeah, we had that, and we had Bobby Brown did on the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack on our own. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because he's literally explaining what's going on in the movie. He's like, too hot to handle, too cold to hold. They call the Ghostbusters in, they answer the phone. And they try to fight evil, the master of Vigo. And I'm just like, how does he know that the Ghostbusters are fighting Vigo? And like,
it's gotta play on the radio stations, and people are gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, I saw the movie, yeah, I dig it, you know.
yeah, man. And you know what? You know what I felt like, Aaron? We were gone for 10 months. And I felt like this is our sequel. We're just coming back. And we need our own cheesy rap song. All right? We needed our rap song because we're back and we're going to bring you everything about pop culture. So, to all our audience, whoever's listening right now, this is our comeback song and it's going to premiere right now. So, here we go. You are listening to the Cereal Box Price Podcast coming back rap song. Here we go.
Hey yo, man, did you hear the word? Nah, man, what's the word? I heard that the Cereal Box Prize Podcast is back. You mean the podcast that serve you 3 scoops of pop culture? Yeah, man, they back. Steve and Aaron are back in full effect. 'Cause we serve 3 scoops of pop culture. We serve 3 scoops of pop culture. Yo, my name is Steve and I'm here to say Cereal Box Prize is here to stay. My co-host Aaron is always co-chillin'. He's always the hero and never the villain. From toys to movies to games to comic books, make sure you listen and follow the hook, 'cause we serve 3 scoops of pop culture. We serve 3 scoops of pop culture. From toys to movies to games to comic books, make sure you listen and follow the hook, 'cause we serve 3 scoops of pop culture. Yeah, listen on anchor.fm. So I got Aaron Smelza, Steve Garcia, and we're back giving you all the latest pop culture news. We're back, people. Yeah.
Wow. Aaron, I don't know about you, but that had to be either the worst song I've ever heard in my life.
I loved it, man. I loved every second of it. It was like when you sent that to me and I listened to it for the first time, I was just dying. It was great because it just shows our personality. You know what I mean? Like it's always good to. It's not bad. I think you did a good job with it. You know what I mean? Like we don't have the production department like Vanilla Ice did, but you know we make do with what we got.
You know what's funny? When I was writing that rap song, right? Like the door for my bedroom was closed, and my brother was just hearing me over and over, like singing the song. But then the funniest thing is like I go, my co-host Aaron is always co-chilling. He's always the hero and never the villain.
He's probably like, who is this? Is this a Valentine's Day thing? Is this like, like, is this something that I should know about my brother? But, he probably likes, okay, he probably shut the door, went to play his PS5 or something.
Hey, man, thank God I'm not a rapper in real life. Like, I'll have dimensional cells on my rap album, man. Definitely. I'm glad I'm not a rapper, man. But, yeah, man, so, guys, we're going to catch up. There's a lot of stuff we want to talk about. So much stuff. 2021 was such a crazy year with a lot of things that happened. But before we get to some of our top highlights of 2021, Aaron, let's talk about the Book of Boba Fett, man.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. All right, Aaron, let's start off and let's be honest about this show. On a scale from 1 to 10, what do you think about the show?
Me being a huge Boba Fett fan, for the past, my whole life pretty much. I'd give it a hard 9. There were a few things that I was like, meh, whatever, but like the way that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have taken the series, from The Mandalorian to now this to whatever else is in the future. the deep fake of Luke Skywalker, I mean, that improved so much from, the Mandalorian season 2 finale to this. I mean, there was just a lot to pack in. My wife and my son, we got into it, from the Mandalorian, we followed it. And there's just we felt like the last episode was a little rushed, because like, why is it only 7 episodes? Why is the season only 7 episodes? But overall, it tied in a lot of the things. I think Dave Filoni said, or, I was reading an article that said he was trying to take kind of the best of the Clone Wars and like the prequels and bring them current when he brought back, the Naboo starfighter that, the Mandalorian ends up repairing and fixing and gets it. They brought back Cad Bane, they brought back Ahsoka, they brought back all these like characters and all these, things from the Clone Wars that were really, really good, and the prequels that were really good. So I think they did a great job with that. But I just felt like that last episode was just like, here you go. And then,
I have to agree with you on that, Aaron. I did feel like that last episode was like, I don't know. It's like they had to do everything right away. Like, okay, here's what's happening. Here's what's going on. Look, I love The Mandalorian. I thought The Mandalorian was like awesome because it was like a Western. Like he was flying to all these planets, and then he always had to help the people. And something was always going on in The Mandalorian. The Book of Boba Fett, I liked it, but I just felt just like you, Aaron. There were certain things that were just like going slow. Like the first episode, we watched Boba Fett. He's thinking about the past when he was stuck in the Sarlacc pit,
right.
And how he got out of it. And then he's walking in the desert, and what is it? The Tusken Raiders, right?
Yeah.
They end up capturing him, and then he ends up like befriending them. They train him, and then like there's this whole scene where, now is it that he had to do this ritual and then be part of them? Remember, because he fights one of the guys, and then they're doing that fire dance.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, hey, you know what? You became one of us. You are a Tusken Raider. Now you're one of us. Let's do this. Let's become a team. And then they get attacked by those fish people. I call them the fish people. Like, what are their names? Their names again, Aaron?
The Pikes.
The Pikes.
Pike Syndicate. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of call them the Super Mario Brothers fish people. Those two, you know what I'm talking about? Those fish guys from Mario Brothers.
Yeah. Definitely got you.
So, the Pikes come, they attack them, but we come to find out later on that it was all a setup. Like the Pikes came, but what was the mayor and what the other guy that was part of the Pikes?
Oh, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean,
right.
You find out that there was kind of, that was like the smoke and mirrors,
Exactly.
And then it's like, okay, they're trying to run the spice through the system and all this other stuff. I did like, and my wife and I were talking about it. I did like the flashbacks. I did like the way that when he was in the Bacta tank that he could kind of, go back and you kind of, okay, this is when he escaped from the Sarlacc pit. This is what happened. Me being a super fan, I think we've discussed this on, previous podcasts of Star Wars. When, you first saw that, the hand of Boba Fett coming through the sand and him escaping the Sarlacc pit, in the Legacy version, I think that's what they're calling it, the Star Wars Legacy. It's like all of the books and stuff that were written before Disney acquired it. That Boba Fett survived. So for us, we're like, yes, like this is, but like seeing now kind of what the canon is, because Dengar ended up helping Boba Fett, which Dengar was another bounty hunter in Empire Strikes Back. Helping Boba Fett come to and get healthy after the Sarlacc pit. So seeing how Disney's changing that, it's fresh, it's good, like, I mean, obviously, just like with anything, you read a book and you watch the movie, it's two totally different interpretations. So, but seeing what they're doing with the series, I think it's great, and still curious about that one Tusken Raider that you never saw die. The kind of the badass one,
yeah.
Like still curious about like what happened, and right. Again, it was like that 7th episode. It was like, here you go, and it was like, well, there's still a lot of questions,
yeah. No, yeah, yeah. I definitely feel that. Like there was a lot of things that I was still questioning too. And Eric, I don't know if you can explain this to me now. Every time Boba Fett got into that cryogenic Michael Jackson chamber, like what was that? Was that like him getting a suntan or something? Like what was that?
No,
Like
it's a Bacta tank.
okay,
And so Bacta is kind of it has healing properties. And if you remember, I think it was in Empire Strikes Back after Luke gets frostbite or attacked by the Wampa.
yep.
You see him briefly in a Bacta tank. It's not a laying down one. It's actually it's a vertical one. And he kind of waves at Han, and then you see him go down. Well, that was a early version of a Bacta tank. Obviously, years had passed, so then you have now a new and improved home version of a Bacta tank that Boba Fett is using to recuperate.
I always found it funny every time he got into that tank because I can just picture him in a towel and just like candles like just lit around him, just like do not bother me right now.
Put a little bath bomb in it,
It is time for my sensual bath. There's like Lionel Richie playing in the background.
But did you stick around and see the after credits scene?
Yes, let's talk about that in a little bit because I actually wanted to ask you a question about that. By the way. All right. So we get through episode 1, and then was episode 2 the one with the neutrinos? Those city kids.
Oh no, I think that was episode 3 or 4. But oh my god,
I have a lot to say about that episode.
Yeah, so you could see the story building, and I think they're called modders, for body modders, body modifications, whatever you want to call them. That whole episode, I mean, I kept on telling my wife, I was like, well, this is either going to be the next ride at Disney with these stupid looking motorcycles.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too.
It felt so out of place. And then the part where the Twi'lek, the guy with the head tails, where he like crashes into the cart. I was like, that they took that from Back to the Future. It was like Biff hitting the pile of manure. And I was like, I don't know. That whole episode was a little bit of a mess, but I could see how they wanted to explain that because that's how the one character was healed, and I'm drawing a blank on her name. I should know her name.
Oh, not Fennec, right?
Oh, Fennec Shan.
Fennec Shan. So, all right. Here's something that I want to bring up about that episode because there was a lot of things. All right, 2 things that I read online. Number 1, Aaron, I don't know if you. Now, this is true Star Wars fandom right here. What I'm about to say.
Yeah. I
went on a Star Wars forum, and somebody said that in that episode, like the little speeder bikes that they have.
Yeah.
One of the people had a mirror, right? A mirror. And a Star Wars fan said, hey, that's the first mirror ever in Star Wars history, like lore. Like the first mirror that we actually see in a Star Wars. And I was like, whoa. Like,
okay.
Is that really the first mirror in a Star?
I mean when you think about it, yeah, I can't even.
I mean, just the fact that like, look, I love Star Wars. I really do. I'm not like a fanatic. There's nothing wrong with that, like super fans. But then there's those super fans that like they know everything about it. So it's just funny that somebody was like, there's a mirror right there. That's the first mirror ever in a Star Wars. Like I mean, like I didn't know like a mirror.
I'm sure there were mirrors on Cloud City. I mean, with his dolled up as they got on Cloud City, I'm sure where Lando was. I'm sure that there were mirrors somewhere. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, but
yeah, I mean, I didn't know. One thing about that episode that everybody was talking about was, okay, before I saw the episode, I spoiled myself because people were saying that speeder chase was so slow.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing I heard. Everybody's like, why is the speeder chase so slow? This thing is so slow.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, okay, I can kind of see what people are talking about. Like, I felt like that action scene with the speeders. I don't know. I was just like, why does this seem so slow? Like, it didn't seem like fast, like action packed. I don't know. Did you feel the same way, Aaron, during that?
I did because just I don't know if it was, I can't remember the order of the episodes.
Right.
But if you compare the speeder bikes that were used in that scene to the one where Boba Fett is flying his ship and destroys the speeder bike gang, and they're traveling at, you know, obviously very high speeds because they get shot and they're tumbling all over the place, you know. And he needs a starcraft to catch up to the speeder bikes, you know, like, or doesn't need it, but I mean the starcraft is used, and obviously they can travel very fast. Yeah, I mean, it, like I said, it almost seemed like they're gonna redo Tomorrowland at Disney, and instead of doing your little race cars, you're gonna have the speeder bikes, and that's gonna be the new kids ride at, you know, at Disney World. I don't know. I didn't understand it. It really felt out of place. And yeah, they were really slow.
You know what's funny is that whole episode started because that one guy was selling water, and the water was like overcharged. It was what's his name from the movie Office Space.
Yeah. No, it's where's my stapler? Yeah.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
what's my stapler? Now
Right.
he's
I
like, hey,
pointed
where's
that
my
out. I
water?
was like, yeah. I was like, oh shit, maybe he's selling staplers, you know?
He's selling staplers and water and tattooing. So, but I found it kind of funny that, like, you know, then Boba Fett, like, he's complaining to Boba Fett, like, oh, these kids, you know, like, they're taking my water, this and that, and then Boba Fett confronts them, and I'm like, okay, I know what's gonna happen here. He's gonna befriend these kids, but it was just so funny because it was like that generation next, like, hey man, you can't tell us what to do, old man, and then Boba Fett's like, I want you to come join my group.
Yeah.
Be the best hunters, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. Like,
Yeah. It definitely felt out of place, but I mean, like, Disney's got to sell merchandise somehow.
Yeah. You know, it's funny how he made his group up. Did you notice that, Aaron? How, like, okay, he befriends these two kids, then he befriends those two pigs, those two green pigs.
Oh, the Gamorrean guards. Yeah. Well,
Rocksteady and Bebop.
well, two bebops. Yeah, I think that you know, the Gamorreans in lore have been known to be fierce warriors and strong and all this other stuff. Obviously, in the movies and TV shows, they're not portrayed as like the best because, like, in Return of the Jedi, one of them falls in the Rancor pit and squeals like a pig, you know, and then like.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you see of the Gamorreans. And then obviously in this one, you know, they stayed loyal to Jabba. So it was like, okay, well, if they're loyal to Jabba, you know, maybe they'll be loyal to me. So yeah, his group definitely was very diverse, which is, you know, again, maybe there's a you know, a hidden agenda there with Disney. You know, make sure that it's a diverse group.
Oh man, there's gonna be a lot of Black Series figures coming out soon. You know, my favorite part with those pigs was like every time they got hurt, you can actually hear them squealing. So like I'm like, okay, I can dig this. This is actually pretty cool, man. So, you know, we got that episode. Then we get the episode, which honestly, I got a lot of Terminator vibes. And RoboCop. It was the one with Finnegan where, like, you know, Boba Fett is explaining how, you know, it left off during that Mandalorian episode where she gets hurt, she gets blown up, whatever.
Yeah.
And he finds her. He brings her back to the operation guy that's turning all these kids into modifications, and he saves her life, and she finds out that she's half human, half robot. And I was just like, oh man, why am I getting RoboCop / Terminator vibes right now? Like watching this right now, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm like half human, half robot. But in a way, it kind of explains like how good she is. You know, like she's a great martial artist, but like how she can jump and all these things. And I'm just like, okay, like that's pretty cool. Like, what do you think about that episode, like Aaron? Like,
Well,
did you think it was kind of slow? Did you like enjoy it? Like,
I mean, it just explained because like the last we knew was that she was left out in the desert, you know.
right?
If you watched The Bad Batch, which is the Disney cartoon,
Yep.
she's actually in that.
Oh,
And so, and I don't know where the timeline kind of is, but I didn't know if that was before or after, but it was like, oh, Fennec Shan is in this, so maybe she you know, you don't really know the timeline, so it's like maybe she survived, whatever. So that was kind of like the nod to that. And then so, well, you got to remember in Empire Strikes Back, when Luke gets his hand cut off,
Right.
he gets
right.
it replaced with the robot hand. You know,
Yep.
so
Yep.
that sort of modification system is capable, and obviously years have gone by since Empire, so you know they're able to do more, you know, intensive procedures. But no, I thought that it was good because it explained kind of like how she's still alive, and you know,
Yeah.
now that Boba Fett he needs a team, so it's like you know she's good, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
well, maybe now she could be even better now that she's got a little robot, you know.
Yeah, you know, like that's awesome you were explaining that, Aaron, because it's true. Like Luke did get a robot arm after he got his hands chopped off, you know,
Right.
and no, they don't really explain how he got that. But you know, seeing this episode and seeing how like all this body modification, you know, was going on, and you know, it's cool how you know you see her in the desert because that was from the Mandalorian. Because didn't Mando end up fighting her in an episode? She got hurt,
Yeah, well,
and then he
Mando
left.
was the one that shot her.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. And then, you know, Boba Fett came and like helped her. So, yeah, man, that episode wasn't too bad. But, Aaron, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Out of all the episodes, I gotta say, The Mandalorian coming back, that episode 6,
Yeah.
and the way that episode opened was epic. Aaron, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think anybody was expecting a full Mandalorian episode. Like
No.
that episode was honestly one of the best Star Wars things that I have seen in a long time. And it was directed by what's her name? Her
Bryce
dad,
Bryce Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard directed that episode. And her dad directed the Han Solo movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Um
I believe
but
so.
man, she did an amazing like all right, Aaron, what was when you saw that episode? Like, what was your feeling like after watching that? Like
Well, it was the Book of Boba Fett without Boba Fett, and it was more, I think, highly acclaimed and received than most of the other episodes. You know, um, the one impressive part. So I'm gonna give a little plug.
yeah,
Um, I've been watching a lot of this guy's YouTube content. He's got like 3 point something million followers, so obviously he knows his stuff. It's a YouTube channel called Star Wars Theory.
okay,
So every time I watch that episode, or every time a new episode comes out, he does a recap of the episode. He'll kind of point out the little kind of Easter eggs in the episode, some fun facts. In that episode, when the Mandalorian returns, I think that was episode 4 or 5. Um, there was a part where when the Mandalorian is going to deliver the bounty, the head of the guy that he chopped off at the beginning of the episode,
yep,
there is I think it's like a minute and a half to 2 minutes, maybe even longer, that was shot in one continuous shot. So when he has the head, he goes in the elevator, he takes the elevator up, he goes and talks to the guy, delivers the head, gets back in the elevator, takes the elevator back down and walks away. That was all one shot.
wow, that is wow, I didn't even know that.
Go back and watch it. I mean, it is, they had to do a whole scene change. I'm guessing that they had basically stuff on wheels and carts and stuff,
Yep,
and they just carted it in and then carted it out. Maybe they obviously used green screen, but it was like 2 minutes of one continuous shot, and it was like, just knowing that was like even more just impressive with that episode. And the whole dark saber, you actually see somebody hurt themselves with a quote unquote lightsaber.
yeah, yeah. That's the first time I saw that. I mean, that whole first of all, that opening scene was
Yeah.
badass. Just him walking in there, all those guys, you know, in that butcher shop, just cutting meat, whatever they were cutting, and
Yeah.
you know, I got Quentin Tarantino Kill Bill vibes.
Yeah.
I don't
A
know
lot
why.
of people compared it to like the mob, like the mafia, because it was in like the butcher shop, and it's like, okay, but yeah, I think kudos to Disney actually allowing it when you actually saw somebody get cut in half by the Darksaber, because
True.
Disney's been very PG in the past couple of years, to see there's a little bit more violence, because we know there's violence in the Star Wars universe, but to actually see somebody use the Darksaber and cut somebody in half, like I thought that was really cool.
No, that was awesome. Yeah, and you know what? I was really surprised that Disney actually showed that, like you said, Aaron. Like, whoa, Mando just cut somebody in half. Like, what's
Yeah.
next? Like, who? All right, who's next? I want to keep watching this, man. Yeah, that episode was awesome. And you know what? Also, I loved like when he was back on that ship, and the what's her name? The guard, the lady that makes all his armor. Like she's
Armorer.
just there. Yeah, the armorer. She's just there, like meditating, like right in the corner, like at the tip of the ship, and like Mando comes down, and she's like, "Oh, hand me the saber that he got built."
The
Like
dark.
the staff.
It's not built. Well, that's like the Mandalorian, the dark
Right.
saber. Oh, you're talking about his the
Right.
Beskar staff.
The
Yeah,
Beskar.
that was built years and years and years ago.
Yeah, and then like she cut it down, and he told her like, "Hey, make something for my little guy." You know what I'm saying?
Grogu.
I want for Grogu, man. Then he gets into that fight with the other Mando guy, and that was epic because he wanted the dark. He's like, "No, this dark saber belongs to my family," and they're having like a Mortal Kombat pit fight. Like I really thought like I was gonna hear finish him. Like, oh, because they took off their rocket packs.
Yeah.
They took off their rocket packs, and I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm getting Mortal Kombat vibes. Let's go. Somebody put some quarters in here. Like, I'm ready for this, man. Yeah, man. Like that was cool, and like also like after that, like he gets the Darksaber and he goes to see Grogu. Like he goes on his mission because that was what he was trying to get to. He got the head. He was trying to ask like, okay, where is this place? Like I want to know how to get here. Then he gets there and he runs into Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like Ahsoka. And I was like, okay, can this episode get any more epic than this? And then you already know what happens, man.
Yeah.
We get Luke. And let me tell you something, Aaron, when we saw Luke in the last episode of The Mandalorian, like I went crazy. But that special effects computer generated thing, I was screaming like a high school girl. I was like, ah! Like I went crazy.
Yeah.
Like I think the effects was just amazing in this, man.
I think it's amazing, but it's also really scary. You know what I mean? Because because they did it with the actor, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, that played Grand Moff Tarkin. And they did it in, I think it was Rogue One, where they kind of imposed the actor's likeness on this character because that's whatever. But it's just like there was a lot of moral dilemmas about it. It's like, well, sure, I agree to play this character, but like when I'm dead, like let's say Mark Hamill, God forbid, dies in the next 10 years. Well, obviously Star Wars is still going to be around. Are they going to be using this technology to be imposing Mark Hamill's face on like robots for years and years and years to come? And like he's not alive. It's kind of creepy, but like it's just the technology has gotten so far advanced now that's like, well, what's moral? Do you do it when only people are alive? Do you do it when they pass away? Do they have to kind of sign something that says, hey, you can continue to use my likeness even 30 years from now?
That, you know what, you're right about that. It is kind of scary. That's like bringing back, let's say, like Frank Sinatra, and Frank Sinatra's in a brand new movie from 2022, but it looks exactly like Frank Sinatra. So
Sure.
yeah, that is kind of scary, man. Like, wow, I really wasn't thinking about that. So
it's great, from a fan standpoint, because you're seeing Mark Hamill's portrayal of Luke Skywalker, the age and everything, basically after Return of the Jedi, a few years after. But it's like, okay, that's cool to see, but it's like, ooh, what happens if Mark Hamill's not around anymore? Like, are you still able to use his likeness? So, I think that the technology is amazing. I think that there's a lot of pros to use it for, but I think it has to be used for the right thing.
No, yeah, I totally agree, man. And in this episode, Grogu was so cute because like you see Luke trying to train him, like with the fish. He's like, "Come on,
Yeah.
come on," and then like Luke's like, "Look, man, let me show you how to really barbecue some fishes." And like he's just like he puts all the fish in the air. Like what did you take out of that one scene, Aaron? Like what was your favorite scene when like
What with the favorite scene with Grogu in general in that episode?
yeah,
Okay,
in that
sorry,
episode, like when he
it
was
kind of
training
cut
him.
out there for a second. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I think seeing him finally be able to use the Force, and when he was using the training ball that Luke was using, the training ball was shooting at him. I think that was the coolest scene. That actually, when he took the training ball and was like, "Okay, I'm done with this."
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties. I don't know what that's like, slowing down right now. Can you hear me over there on your end, Aaron?
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I missed that. So let's do that one again. So, like when he was training him, like what was like your favorite part from there? Like, was it like him jumping the rocks and this like what was like your favorite part? Like with Luke training Grogu there?
Yeah, so my favorite part of that training sequence was the when he was trying to dodge the training ball that Luke was
Yes,
using,
yes,
and then so he's getting enough, and you see him start to jump like Yoda did, in the prequels.
yes.
And so it's like, all right, and then he was like, all right, I'm done with this thing, and he uses the Force and basically shuts it down, and then it falls into the water. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm trained enough to get past this test. What's next?
Yeah, man. Oh, so epic. And then the episode ends with Luke telling Grogu, like, okay, Mando gave him like a little tiny little baby shirt that he got from Babies R Us with Beskar. And then you see the lightsaber and Luke's like, okay, little guy, you gotta choose. It's either you want to be a Jedi or do you want to be a Mandalorian? And that's the way the episode ended. And I'm like, oh my God, this poor little cute little guy is gonna have to choose. And like all that week and all those days, I was like, what is he gonna pick? What is he gonna pick?
Yeah.
Then we get to the season finale, episode 7, and oh man, I don't know, Aaron, where do you want to start talking about this? There's so much I want to say about this episode, but
So there was a meme going back to like the choice, the choice of, okay, you have to pick the lightsaber, or you have to pick the Beskar chainmail mithril. It reminded me of the mithril thing that Frodo wore, in Lord of the Rings. That's what I was calling it anyways. But it was like there was a meme and it was like only the Sith deal in absolutes. Don't make me choose, one or the other. I can have both. I mean, he could choose both. He could have Beskar and the lightsaber, and he could be a Jedi. But they were saying that the emotional attachment between him and the Mandalorian are going to end up whatever. So
right. I mean,
going in,
it's like a father with his
well,
kid.
you missed a big part of that episode 6, or was it? Well, it wasn't the finale, but when they introduced Cad Bane, when Cad Bane came in, like in the second to last episode when we first saw Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, that's right.
Yeah, I mean that was, you want to talk about fangirl moment. Like my wife was like, okay, calm down. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I couldn't tell who it was at first. And then like it hit me and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. Yeah, so Cad Bane's character was introduced, and then obviously we're going into the finale, but
Wait, but
yeah.
so Cad Bane, that character of Cad Bane, that the Western guy with the red eyes, right? That's
Yep.
what we're talking about. Which, oh my God, such a great villain. Like the way he played it, his face is so menacing. It's just so menacing, that face, man. And like, so where was Cad Bane originally introduced, Aaron? For those
The Clone Wars. So the Clone Wars cartoon.
Oh, okay. So Okay.
He
I've
was
never
he
seen
was
it.
a Dave Filoni creation back, years ago. So he was a bounty hunter. He knows Boba Fett.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. That makes
So there's
sense.
they actually had a lot of battles together, and because they were both bounty hunter. He if you go back and watch the Clone Wars, there's 8 seasons or whatever of the Clone Wars. It's on Disney Plus as well. Um, the Clone
I
Wars.
really, I really gotta check the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I think we're breaking up again.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna edit it anyways. First seen the Clone Wars, and I know a lot of people were fanning when Cad Bane came out, and like I didn't know who he was, and like I just loved how menacing this guy was, like his look, the way he talked, and it was just amazing. It was like I was watching a Western movie, man. It was so great, man. And then we get to the season finale, and all hell breaks loose. Oh my God! I mean, we have Mando and Boba Fett literally cornered, and everybody's turning against each other. Everybody that lived in that town that Boba made a pact with, we see that Wookiee that looks like Chewie, and he's just getting attacked. Like all these people are jumping on him, like everybody's turning against the Boba and his group. I don't know, like how did you feel when you saw this episode, Aaron?
I mean, it felt like it was rushed. Like that's my 2 cents. I felt like it was rushed. Um, I felt like more people should have died in this episode. Um,
Right.
there wasn't a lot of like the Gamorrean guards died. They got pushed off a cliff or whatever, and I think maybe one of the biker gang guys died. The robot modification guys. I don't know, but it just seemed like there was too many main characters that were alive at the end of this episode, and it was like, I don't know, it just felt like it was too perfect.
Yeah, you know what I got out of this episode? It was a mix of kaiju, because we had the Rancor coming out, acting like King Kong, climbing that tower, which is freaking badass, man. It's just watching that Rancor. And it also felt like Terminator, because you had those robots. So it was like kaiju, Terminator, Western. Like, it was like all these different genres of movies mixed into one episode. And you know what's funny, Aaron, is like, it's true what you were saying. It did feel a little rushed because Fanakin, the girl, like she's the one that killed the mayor and killed the guy, and it was like so fast, like everything happened like so quickly, and even like the the battle between Boba Fett and Cad Bane, like that last scene, I thought it was gonna go for like a good 10 minutes, but like it was just Cad Bane, like, all right, I know you, Boba Fett. Are you gonna draw first? And I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? And then like, Boba Fett just like trips him, grabs his thing, and just stabs him. And I'm like, okay, I thought there was gonna be more to this.
Yeah, well,
I
I
just thought
don't
it was
know.
rushed.
I don't know if you heard. I mean, so one of the things with Cad Bane is that he has a breathing apparatus. That's what those
Okay,
things are in his neck, so that he
right.
can't, so that he cannot be force choked like Darth Vader did. Like, so he can
Oh,
breathe. Even if he's force choked. That's why he has that apparatus to kind of combat against Jedi, Sith, whatever. So there was a beeping noise after Boba Fett stabbed him. It was very faint. I heard it, and I think it was some sort of life support or some sort of beacon that I don't think we're done seeing Cad Bane, because like obviously they just introduced him the episode before. Now they introduced, they kill him off
right.
in the very next episode. Like, and then so I heard a faint beeping noise, which I think that, obviously everybody has their theories. It's either a life support system that was activated or some sort of beacon for some medical droid to come get him and take him back to the ship.
Or maybe his pager.
Or maybe his pager.
Or maybe his pager. Somebody's paging him.
Because I don't know. I was in a bit of a state of a shock, because they just introduced him in the last episode. And like I said, I was fangirling out about that, and it was like, I kind of looked at my wife and I was like, really? Like, did they really just do this? Like, in the next episode? So
yeah, it's great. You know, and you bring up a good point, Aaron, because I'm like, okay, they just introduced this guy and now he's dead. I'm like, this is like too fast. And you know, like again, I felt like episode 6 was awesome. Episode 7 just felt like, okay, we need to like wrap this up, boys. Come on, writers, let's get the show on the road. They wrapped everything up so quick. The ending though of this episode, Mando and Grogu on the ship. Aaron, you know what I thought was gonna happen when Grogu was smashing the little ball?
The glass was gonna break.
I really thought that because he was like, stop it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, what if this glass breaks? And he's like, ah, he just goes flying in the air, man.
Yeah. That was a cute little moment, and you know, I'm glad that they put that in. I mean, obviously, we knew when they added the little bubble, you know, where the astromech would have gone on the Naboo
Right.
starfighter, that, you know, okay, the Grogu was eventually gonna. The foreshadowing was there, you know, but yeah, I thought it was pretty neat. And then you had the after credit scene.
Yeah, so can you
Which-
explain? All right, Aaron, I'm glad we're getting to this now, and I'm talking to you about this. And for those listening right now, because, okay, in that after credit scene, wasn't that the modifier guy that was modifying people
Yeah,
right? So in that tank, that's what's his name? The Western guy that Mando befriended.
yeah, the Marshal.
The
his
Marshal,
name-
yeah, the Marshal was in there. So what is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen?
I don't know. That was kind of like I had to rewind it and figure out who was in it, because it went by so quick, and I was like, oh, okay, it's the Marshal whose character's name was Cobb Vanth.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that. Obviously, they wanted to keep him alive. From what I've read online, that okay, there's going to be another season of The Mandalorian,
Right.
but there's not going to be another season of Boba Fett. So it's going to be interesting to see, does he play a role in the either in the new Mandalorian, because obviously the Mandalorian knows him, you know, because they took down the Krayt Dragon together. Is he going to play a role in the new Ahsoka series that's coming out? I don't think that they're releasing the Obi-Wan series. I don't think that I don't know what timeline that's going to be in, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know why they chose that scene, you know?
Yeah, same here. Like I was a little confused. I was like, okay, what's the angle here? Like what's this? Like, so, you know, I'm very interested to see what's going on, but like, you know, I'm gonna give my predictions of where this all is gonna lead to, Aaron. And like I want to hear your predictions. I'm talking about Mando, Book of Boba Fett, the Obi-Wan, Ahsoka Tano. This is all gonna be one shared universe, right? And it all started with Mando. But I feel like this journey with Grogu, right? He's on this journey of finding himself, training, becoming a Jedi. Now he's with Mando, but I feel like this is all gonna lead to some super epic battle in the Star Wars universe, and the one person that can use his powers is gonna be Grogu. And I don't know why, because we keep seeing that every time he uses his powers, even though he's little, he knocks out. We had that cute little moment with him and the Rancor. He put the Rancor to sleep like a little puppy, and he falls asleep next to it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just getting these vibes where we keep seeing that something epic is gonna happen in his universe where he's gonna have to sacrifice himself. I don't know. I just feel like this is where it's coming. Like it's gonna be something that's gonna break our hearts.
Well, I mean, so you got to remember, you got to think of the timeline, and obviously, some, you know, this is kind of like the offshoot, you know, or the filler, because episodes 7, 8, and 9, which love them, hate them, whatever, Disney made them, so that's canon now. 7, 8, and 9, this is happening before those episodes. So I think it was in the episode where we talked about Luke Skywalker, StarWars.com confirmed that the droids that were building the temple, that's the temple that you see in episode 8, I believe it is. So and that's the temple that gets burned down or struck by lightning or whatever. So they confirmed that is the temple being built that is in the other, the, I don't even know what the hell you call it, the sequels.
Right. Yeah, that's the temple. Wasn't that the temple that Luke was there where Yoda, like they were like training, or he sees him there, then it gets burnt down. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Where the ghost, the Force ghost of Yoda comes, and then it gets struck by lightning. Yeah. So that's that temple. So there's still a good amount of years before that happens, obviously. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're kind of going to take it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, that maybe they're going to get into, oh man, I'm drawing a blank. So the Sith that was introduced in episode 7,
right,
that you don't know anything about, that you don't know anything. So maybe that's where they're going with that. Now,
and then also, what's his name from Mandalorian is still alive? The main villain, where he got the Darksaber from, he's still alive, because we saw in the last episode of the Mandalorian, like, he didn't die. He was on that ship.
Sorry, Snoke. So maybe Snoke was the one that I was talking about earlier, that was introduced in episode 7, right, that you don't know anything about. So like maybe that's where they're going with that. And then Moff Gideon, who had the Darksaber. They confirmed that he's still alive. He's just in some sort of Republic prison, New Republic prison. So, who knows? I mean, obviously, he's probably going to get broken out. Maybe that's where we get introduced to Snoke, because obviously they got to fill that gap between episode, Return of the Jedi and episode 7.
Man, I gotta say, man, I am loving being a Star Wars fan. Like there, all right. There is no better time now to love Star Wars, love Ninja Turtles, with everything going on with Turtles, Ghostbusters, just everything that we love is coming back. And I know Star Wars, a lot of people didn't like the prequels, they had a problem with it, but Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, like everybody at Disney is doing an amazing job. And I just hope that the Obi-Wan show, the Ahsoka Tano show, like I hope all of that's amazing, because I am loving just Star Wars right now. I was getting ready for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I love Ghostbusters, and then once I saw the movie, and I was like, oh, it's time for the Book of Boba Fett. And I was just like, oh my God, I am just loving everything. It's like entertainment overload right now.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just a great time to love everything that's going on. So on a scale from 1 to 10, Aaron, what would be your number for this show?
Like I said, I think a very strong 9. I think that there were very few things that, that were questionable decisions. Obviously, that speeder bike episode, the way that they ended it. Obviously, they're doing very, very, very good things with the series, and I enjoy the series very much. But I think that there's a few things that could have been changed. But I'm not that at liberty to make those decisions.
Well, listen, you know what? I'm gonna give it like an 8.5 as well. I enjoyed it. Like for me, there was a few things like, I don't know, like the first 3 episodes felt a little bit slow for me, and I was like, okay, can we pick this up? Because maybe because I was spoiled with The Mandalorian, where everything was just like, oh, action packed, this.
Yeah.
Boba Fett, just like the Tusken Raider stuff, just felt a little slow. I'm like, okay, let's speed this thing up already, man. But I think once we got to like episode 3 and 4 or 5, things started like making sense. And watching Danny Trejo with the Rancor, and all that, it was like amazing. So yeah, I definitely give it like an 8.5. So yeah, all of you guys that have not seen the Book of Boba Fett, I'm sorry if you just listened to all the spoilers we just gave you, but check it out, man. Check out the Book of Boba Fett. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan, and I'm just loving everything we're getting right now. So, okay, now for a little bit of controversy. I just wanted to bring this up because we are also toy collectors. And I bumped into this topic 2 days ago. A lot of YouTube channels that I watch for toys were talking about it. Laura Legends, she's a toy collector. Retro Blasting, they spoke about it. And Aaron, I sent you a video on Facebook Messenger about this, but did you hear about the whole Mattel Jurassic Park controversy that happened?
I didn't get a chance to check it out, but I'm sure you can give me a Cliff Notes version of it.
Yeah, so I took down. All right. So basically, this is what happened. So Mattel, they ended up copywriting 2 strikes and singling out two YouTubers on YouTube. Now, for those that don't know, if you get 3 copyright strikes on your YouTube channel, you have 7 days to dispute that with the company. If that company does not get back to you within 7 days of those 3 copyright strikes, they automatically delete your YouTube channel. So we're talking about years of work where these content creators created all this great entertainment. Not only that, but like, listen, all these toy collectors and all these people that love all these movies and all this pop culture stuff, some of these companies gotta understand that, hey, we're giving you free publicity. We're the ones that are buying this stuff. We're the ones that are reviewing it. Like, come on, just cut us a break. So what ended up happening was that Andy is from Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. He has a YouTube channel, and Tim from Collector Jurassic. They both have channels on YouTube and Instagram. So Tim from Collector Jurassic, he focuses more on Jurassic Park toys, and Tim, he got his Instagram disabled. Not only did it get disabled, but he's no longer even to use Instagram. And the reason for this is because we have Jurassic Park Dominion coming out, the new movie for Jurassic Park this summer. So what ended up happening was Tim from Collector Jurassic, he ended up, China had the new toys that were coming out.
Yeah.
And what he did was he found the pictures, and this US, mind you, this is a US company called Toy Wiz. He took pictures, he ended up buying the toy. Now, the toy was not supposed to be released till later on.
Yeah.
But Toy Wiz, this US company, already had the Jurassic Park toy from Dominion. So he bought the toy, he did a review, and he did everything right. It's not his fault that like the toy was released early from this company.
Right.
Mattel found out, and they literally disabled his Instagram. His Instagram was connected to his YouTube, and he ended up getting copyright strike. Same thing from Andy. No, this was Tim from Collector Jurassic, but Andy from Andy's Dinosaurs Reviews, he got the same toy again. He found it on a website available. He did a YouTube review and a video, and he got 3 copyright strikes. Here's my issue with this, Aaron. We also got a copyright strike, and I don't know if you remember that we did a podcast, and we were talking about the Royal Rumble WWE.
Right.
And I ended up posting, literally, it was like 10 seconds, not even that long. And in an hour, I got a message from WWE telling me, you need to take this away right now. This is a copyright strike. So I did. I took it away right now. Obviously, we don't make money. We're just 2 guys that love like collecting.
Right.
There's no way in hell that we can go against a mega force like the WWE in court.
Right.
My issue is that these 2 YouTubers, like, it is not their fault that there was an embargo, on these toys. Toy Wiz ended up having these toys early release, so for me, I felt like Mattel should have gone after Toy Wiz. They should police these retailers that are like supposed to not release these toys early. But Mattel goes and gives 3 copy strikes like right away. These are the people that are buying your toys. These are the people that are reviewing your toys. Like, cut these guys a break. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you feel about this, Aaron?
Yeah, the whole copyright strike thing or inappropriate content or whatever. one of the YouTube channels that I used to watch quite a bit, they just produced funny content. It was kind of like Jackass, was the Bell Life. And they ended up getting, strikes for, unsafe content or inappropriate content or whatever. And then they had to put disclaimers up or take these videos down or whatever, it was like they would do like stupid spicy food challenges, like people would send them foods like, here, try this ghost pepper, whatever. Okay, they'd eat it. Well, they wouldn't put a disclaimer in, like, please don't try this at home, whatever, And so they had to go back and take all of them. They actually, and YouTube is you can make money off of YouTube, like if you have enough videos, if you have enough time. And so this was their main source of income. Well, they were getting strikes on some videos that were uploaded 2, 3, 4 years ago. How are you going to get a strike to say that this was unsafe that was uploaded 4 years ago? You know what I mean? When it's been on YouTube for 4 years, and then it's like, well, you're not making any more money off of this video. Well, like, talking about that, and like you said, we got hit with one with the WWE thing, and we're just like, we're two guys, and that just like talking about it. We were trying to up our content a little bit and add a video. God forbid we try to make it a little bit of production value. And it was like, I remember you called me and you're like, oh, we got to take this video down, or we got to whatever, and we got to blur it out. But yet you can go on YouTube right now and watch all sorts of shit from all these other people that have uploaded hours of content of WWE. So I don't know, but like the whole thing about a toy company deleting your Instagram that you've worked hard for, deleting because you've posted a picture or a review of an unreleased, or not unreleased, but a released early, well, that's not anybody's fault but the company that sold it. Just like if you go into Target and buy a video game or a toy that had a street date, and I know this happens all the time, you go in and there's a street date, but a manager overrides it, or, they scan something different and people get product before the day it was supposed to be released. Well, it's not anybody's fault but the companies for putting it out on the shelves. I think that it's a little harsh for a toy company to go after you. Okay, it's the new unreleased dinosaur that's in the movie, and it's kind of like a spoiler. I guess if you had a toy of the Indoraptor from, that was released early and they want to keep that a secret, but you can't punish the guy for buying a toy off a legitimate website and it was shipped out early,
Yeah, man. Aaron, you hit the nail on the head. It's like these companies like Hasbro, Mattel, it's like, listen, man, police the retailers. If there's an embargo, it's up to you as the company to make sure that these people do not release these toys. And I get it, like Mattel, with Jurassic Park, the new movie's coming out, and I guess this new dinosaur that came out was part of the film, and they didn't want to spoiler alert, like people that are gonna watch the movie. But
yeah,
not for nothing, that happens all the time in toys. Ghostbusters Afterlife, we had some of those toys already coming out before the movie. Right. Like, we knew that Bug-Eyed Ghost was gonna be in the movie before the movie even came out. This happens all the time. Even right now, the new Batman movie is coming out March 4th. The toys are coming out right now as we speak.
Well, so the one thing that, and didn't mean to cut you off, but like I just thought of it right now, and it's a really expensive toy now. It happened back in the 90s with Dick Tracy, right?
Yes.
Like, it happened with The Blank.
The Blank.
They released The Blank, and it had Madonna's character's likeness underneath. And they were like, oh, shit, we can't release this toy. I think it was only released in Canada, or it got released. There's figures of The Blank out there, but then they recalled the good majority of them because as a kid, if you were collecting the toy line, because the toys came out before the movie at this point, in this instance, and it was like, well, shit, we can't have the blank because it shows who the blank is, and that's kind of the big reveal at the end of the movie. Breathless Mahoney is the blank,
Right, right, right. But you see that, and that's my thing is like this is happening still now to this day,
Yeah.
where we're getting these toys being released before the film. These toy companies, somebody there is messing up. The toys are getting released early. I would hate if there's a new Ninja Turtle movie and I see, I don't know, Donatello's out, and I'm like, oh man, I love Donatello, and I buy it. And here on Zero Box Prize, we talk about it, we post a picture on it, and then we get a copyright strike by Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Nickelodeon, like, it's not my fault that this figure was released early before the film. Like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just a fan. Like,
yeah, and plus it sucks because these people that are getting these copyright strikes are obviously very avid fans of the franchise and of toys, and like they're only probably going to say good things like, look at this toy, this is cool,
right.
Like, oh, look at, whatever. I mean, unless they're bashing the shit out of the toy, like, oh, this is a piece of crap, look at this, like, but even if it's a true review, if I got, I don't know, if I bought a new toy today and came on and was like, this figure sucks, it's stupid, whatever, that's my opinion. We're allowed to say those types of things, so it's almost like when YouTube took down the dislike button. It's like,
God,
we can't show how many dislikes there are. It's along those same lines,
Well, okay, so man, you hit another topic right now. So YouTube taking out the dislike button. So the reason I came to find out why YouTube actually did that, it wasn't because, like, let's say people like us, two guys, late 30s, 40s, early 40s, like talking about toys and stuff, and we get a dislike on ours, right? YouTube isn't making a big deal about that. The reason why they took out the dislike button is because of big companies that were getting dislikes. For example, let's talk about the Ghostbusters Answer the Call fiasco that happened when that movie came out.
Yeah.
That was the #1 watch trailer in YouTube history, and it got so many dislikes. So, we had that fiasco. We had other fiascos where, not little YouTube channels. I'm talking about big major companies that were getting like all these dislikes, even Disney. So what did YouTube do? Well, YouTube is owned by Google. Google is a major corporation. Google does business with all these other major corporations.
Yeah.
So, hey, guess what? We're just going to take out the dislike button for everything. And hence, here we are now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really bad thing because, like, content creators such as us, if somebody doesn't like something, you kind of want to know, like, okay, why did somebody didn't like this episode? Was it something that I said? Was it maybe a topic? Because I've been noticing for us, since we've been doing the podcast, when we started the podcast last year, certain episodes had more views than others because of the topics that we talked about.
Right.
Star Wars is one of the, like, we had contact about Star Wars, and we had so many listeners and so many views because we're talking about Star Wars.
Right.
And then like other topics, like when we talked about masks from Kenner, like toys, a lot of people didn't listen to that. But when we talked about G.I. Joe, people like that. So I think it's a good thing to have these dislike and like buttons because you just know. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, man.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, like, obviously YouTube wasn't around in the 90s when, the Dick Tracy figures were released. But if somebody, I mean, and I guess I'm trying to put it into perspective, right? If I bought the blank, right, in the 90s, and let's just say YouTube was around, right? And I go, oh, I just bought this blank. Look who's underneath of it. It's this chick who we know is Breathless Mahoney, and you did a review on that toy. It would not be good for the toy company because it would be bad press, which would turn into like people not buying the toys or not going to see the movie because you already know who the blank is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if this dinosaur is the big reveal of the new Jurassic World Dominion, then I could understand the toy companies taking the I guess the extreme measures to kind of silence these YouTube creators and
Right.
Instagram creators, but it shouldn't be to the point where their whole account gets deleted because or they're not able to produce any more content. It should just be that particular video, kind of like a cease and desist. Hey,
Right.
you need to take this video down, please, or else there will be legal action, and your YouTube channel, Instagram could be terminated. Like that to me is reasonable. For somebody to go, nope, you get 3 copyright strikes, you messed up. Well, I didn't know I messed up.
Right.
If you sent me a cease and or it's like, okay, if I take this video down, will you restore my platform?
Right.
But YouTube, and going back to that, because I watched a lot of videos of the Bell Life going through this debacle with YouTube. Every time they would get some sort of strike, they would appeal it, or they would take the video down. They would appease, the YouTube or the viewers. And like a lot of times, like I said, they were getting strikes on videos that had been up for, years at this point. And like they were going through the process of, here's everything that we've done. Here's everything that we need to do. And YouTube, almost like an eBay mentality of like agreeing with whoever put the strike on it, was like, nope, even though you did these things, you still get the strike.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man. Because like Aaron, like you get these 3 copyright strikes. You have 7 days to dispute this with this company. So let's say, for example, WWE. Let's say we got 3 copyright strikes from them, right? And we dispute it. If WWE does not get back to us within 7 days, like that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Everything that we created, all our content, all our backlog is deleted.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, what are the odds of this company getting back to us?
They don't
you just
have
did-
to.
and they don't. Like they don't. We're 2 guys. Look, I'm in my toy room / bedroom right now. I'm not gonna go against a major corporation as WWE. What? I'm gonna walk in there with Lionel Hutz from The Simpsons as my lawyer?
Yeah.
Like.
Well,
Like,
it's just like, and I watch a lot of guys that go into, stores, and there's music playing, and it's like, you can get a copyright strike for being in a store and there's music playing, and then, it's not it's a copyright strike, but it's a demonetization. So like, if you're making money on YouTube, and you have a video that has music playing in the background, you're not going to make any money off of it,
Right.
And so I see them all the time. They'll be recording and they'll be like, oh, I need to shut off the camera because I don't want to get demonetized. I mean, it's just, you come to this point and it's just like, well, you want to be a content creator and you want to do the right thing, and obviously somebody that's main content is reviewing toys, and you get a hold of a new toy, I don't get it.
Yeah, not to get into a whole political rant, but like you heard the whole Neil Young, Joe Rogan controversy too, right?
Yeah.
All right, so again, I know there's that one person listening like, I want to hear more nerdy stuff. Why are we getting into more politics? Well, listen, this has something to do with content creation and everything that's going on. Joe Rogan had Neil Young on one of his shows, and Joe Rogan, was talking to Neil Young about COVID, the COVID vaccines, whatever. Now here's the thing with Joe Rogan, and he actually explained this on his Instagram on the video, is Joe Rogan, he's not just saying things just to say things. This man has intellectual conversations with guests. He has a podcast, he brings scientists, musicians, all kinds of people with different backgrounds. And Joe, he's not just saying stuff just to say stuff. Like if he's gonna say something, he's gonna back it up with some sort of scientific fact.
Yeah.
Neil Young didn't like whatever Joe Rogan said, and then Neil Young told Spotify, like, hey, listen, I don't want you playing any kind of my music. Take all my music down. Then I just saw the news yesterday. Neil Young is telling all the staff and employees that work for Spotify, hey, stop working for the CEO. I forgot the guy's name that runs Spotify. Is the
Yeah.
owner. Stop working for him. Just walk out. And I just feel like we're living in this day and age, and this has to do with the whole copyright strike stuff, where it's like, as a content creator, you just have to be very careful with this cancel culture and just everything, man. Like,
well, we talked about this back, one of our previous episodes about the Space Jam stuff and
yes,
the cancel culture. I mean, it's at what point is it like you're gonna say one thing, and I'm sure that we, just in our, short time, we probably said some controversial things,
I'm sure we
that
have.
that
Yeah.
if we say something that doesn't match the current culture,
Right.
and then 10 years down the line, they're going to use a quote that we said 10 years ago for something that was taken so out of context, and that's like, well, cancel the Cereal Box Prize podcast because they said that, the sky was purple, and it's like, well, you can't, obviously you may say some things that whatever are controversial, years down the line. I mean, hell, I know we talked about it. The whole Bill and Ted thing. They said a anti-LGBTQ term in one of their movies, and it's like, well, at the time that wasn't really a very I guess hot topic. You know what I mean? And so that was in the movie, and then now, obviously it is a big topic. And it's like, cancel Bill and Ted. Well, that was a great movie with one little line, and it's like, cancel Bill and Ted. But it's just like, I don't know. You go and, obviously Joe Rogan, he is very opinionated.
Yes.
He's very fact driven though.
Yes, he is.
Like you said, I've watched a lot of his podcasts. He brings on Neil deGrasse Tyson. He brings on, scientists in the field. He brings on, all these different people, and he has intellectual conversations.
Yes.
For him and his vaccine stance, hey, look, like you said, we're not getting political. Whatever you choose is your choice. If you choose not to get the vaccine, that's your choice. But if you choose not to get the vaccine and you lose your job because your job's requiring you to get a vaccine, that's your choice.
Exactly.
Obviously there's repercussions, and then you could be vocal about, I lost my job because I didn't want to get the vaccine. Well, that's your choice.
Right.
I don't.
You know what it is, Aaron? It's like being a toy collector. Hey, if you like Super 7 Ultimates, you like Super 7 Ultimates. If I like NECA, I like NECA. So.
Right. And you're going to support one side or the other. I could say, oh, I don't know. I know you really like Mask. I like Mask too, but I'm just saying this for the point of argument. I hate Mask. You're going to be like, oh, no, Mask is, Mask is the best thing that ever happened. I can't believe that you would say that. I'm never going to talk to you again, Aaron. We can't do the podcast anymore because you hate Mask. I mean, it's to that point where, it's bad, but
hey, man.
If you choose to stick with me, and even though I don't like Mask, then I guess we could go on.
Let's all hold hands, whether you like Mask or not. Hands across America.
Mask.
No, man. But yeah. I'm glad we brought that topic because it was just a topic that everybody was talking about, and being toy collectors. I felt like this was something to bring on. But let's bring it back to a positive view. We've been going for like an hour and like 16 minutes, hour 29 actually. But Aaron, let's just take a look back really quick at 2021. I just made a quick little list here of some of the things that happened in 2021. For toys, I'm gonna bring this up. We had a lot of crazy stuff happening for toys in 2021. HasLab. All right, let's talk about the HasLab. We had, for the first time, an actual 1-to-1 scale Ghostbusters proton pack. Man, was that a crazy... Okay, not only did we have the proton pack from Ghostbusters Afterlife, we also had the Rancor from HasLab, and we had the G.I. Joe Striker. And let me tell you something, Aaron. For 2 weeks, it was like me watching the stock market go up and down because I'm like, which one of these is gonna get funded first?
Right.
Everybody in the toy community was just watching this. I don't even know how many YouTube channels I watch about this controversy, but I think the Ghostbusters Proton Pack needed 7,000 backers.
Yeah.
And literally in like 3 to 4, I think in 4 days, it was already up to like 5,000 something.
Yeah.
Like it was incredible how fast. Like, and I'll be honest with you, Aaron, I didn't think that it was gonna get back because there are more Star Wars fans, I believe, than there is Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but I mean, I think something like that, obviously, it doesn't just, toy collectors, the Rancor is for toy collectors and Star Wars collectors. The Proton Pack is for cosplayers. It's for people that dress up for Halloween. It's for, it is for the toy collectors, but it's also a display piece. Like I know you personally, you have a Proton Pack. It's a display piece. You can hang it on the wall.
Right.
It's a conversation piece. You can boot it up. They said that it was going to have some compatibility with the Egon's
Spangler Neutrino wand. Yeah.
the Neutrino wand. So like there was that, because a lot of people bought the Neutrino wand, and it's like, okay, cool, there's going to be this other stuff. So I think that it definitely reached a more wide range of people. And obviously following the podcasts and the, Facebook pages, I saw a lot more people talking about the Proton Pack, even though the the one of the reach goal or whatever with the slime,
the stupid slime sticker on the pack.
Slime, yeah, that was kind of funny to see, like everybody talking about that. But I think that it just reached a more wide range of people versus a big ass Rancor. Obviously, a Black Series Rancor, a very big Rancor is cool, but the Sky Striker, I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
There's already been a Sky Striker. It's not it's nothing new. It's not a classified series scale Sky Striker. I mean, if it was a classified series scale, it would be huge. But if it was a huge Sky Striker that people could, actually display and put on their whatever, because the Razor Crest got back.
Yeah.
I just saw somebody post that they're starting to get shipped, or it's finally getting shipped. So, I think like the Razor Crest, the Mandalorian ship, that was backed because
and the sail barge too.
Right. Yeah.
The sail barge.
Right. I think the sail barge was kind of what started off the HasLab, years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are things that fans want, but I think in this case it was the battle of the Rancor and the Proton Pack, and obviously the Proton Pack won. But I think that it just reached a more wide range of people.
Yeah, it's funny because there was a lot of jokes going on with the Book of Boba Fett, and when the Rancor came out, somebody posted on a forum. They were like, "Hey, are we gonna watch the Rancor again coming out like in episode 7?" And then the next question was like, "Well, we gotta back it first."
Yeah.
Somebody was like, "Yeah, we gotta back the Rancor."
But
we're not gonna
again,
watch the Rancor again.
Going back to that, like nobody's ever produced a 1-to-1 scale Proton Pack, other than fan made, that kind of stuff. There's never been an official production. This year we saw at Halloween time, Spirit of Halloween came out with a very affordable mock-up of a Proton Pack for kids and adults. And a lot of people were like, hey, this is a really good pack if you want to cosplay, whatever, because it was very realistic, nothing to like the quality of a fan made one, but it's definitely a doable mod. It was easily modded and stuff like that. But we never had a 1-by-1. You've had Rancors before. I mean, they produced the Rancor toy back in the 80s with Return of the Jedi, which is a pretty big size Rancor. I have one downstairs. They produced some later iterations of the Rancor. I think there was like an extended universe Rancor, and I think they re-released it at some point. So I mean, you already had a Rancor, but like you don't have a 1x1 proton pack, you know.
Right. And as a fan, because I was getting text messages from some of my friends that were like toy collectors that know that I love Ghostbusters, and I even spoke to you, Aaron, and I was like, well, I already have a proton pack. I bought it for 500. I spent another 600. Dan Aykroyd signed it. Ernie Hudson signed it. And I'm just like, the value of my pack right now is like 2,500. I'm just like, do I really want to spend another 500 on another proton pack? I love Ghostbusters, but I was like, hey, you know what? I'm happy with what I have right now. I just couldn't see myself dropping more money on another proton pack. But I'm happy for all the fans that don't have one. I think it was cool that people have a actual 1-to-1 scale proton pack. You can wear it, you can cosplay with it, like you said, Aaron. Right. You can hang it on your wall. It's a good display piece. I do feel bad for the Star Wars fans, but Hasbro, please, last minute. Did you see what Hasbro did the last minute just to try to get people to back it? They added the Rancor Keeper.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I'm like, why couldn't they just add the Rancor Keeper from the beginning? They were so desperate. The last 4 or 5 days of that HasLab, they were like, hey, we're gonna add the Rancor Keeper, guys. Come on, we're gonna come get it right now. And it's just like, guys, like that's it. Like it's over. Like just give up.
It's hard. Like at least with the Razor Crest, it was like, okay, we can add, the people frozen in carbonite. We can add this. I mean, there was a lot more things to add with the Razor Crest, but like with the Rancor, like there's really, okay, we can add some broken bones. We could add, like the Rancor Keeper. We could add a chain. Like, I mean, like there's not a lot of things to add if you reach the stretch goals with the Rancor. But like you said, I mean, it's unfortunate that it wasn't backed, but I think that ultimately, most Star Wars fans are happy with the Rancors that have already been released. Like, I bought the one that was released in the 80s, and Return of the Jedi, and the thing's fantastic. It's the button in the back, the jaw moves up and down. It's posable. It's decent big. I mean, it's 12, 13 inches. It's no small Rancor.
Oh yeah,
it's a decent size. It works well with the 3 3/4 inch figures. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I know that the people that have backed it, and it didn't obviously come to fruition, they're pissed. But I think that who knows? Give it another 2-3 years. Now that you've introduced the Rancor into Book of Boba Fett, that's when they would have been smart. Okay, you reintroduce the Rancor into Book of Boba Fett. Then you start the HasLab.
Hasbro, why don't you just hire Aaron, okay? Like hire Aaron for your marketing department. Let's do this right.
But maybe they had some inside information of like, okay, the Rancor is going to come back at some point, blah blah blah. So let's release it, and then maybe people will figure it out. But maybe not. I mean, I think that if they said right after this aired, if they said, okay, HasLab's going to back a new Rancor, and it was the Rancor from Book of Boba Fett,
right?
Then people, I'm sure, would have bought it.
Yeah, that makes more sense, man. I don't know why Hasbro did it that way.
Because then think of the stretch goals, Baby Grogu. You could do, you could add in certain things from the episode as your stretch goals.
Wow. Okay. Again, Hasbro, hire Aaron. What's going on here? You guys is saying, so up there in your marketing department is taking down notes listening to this right now. But I totally agree with you, Aaron. That would have been a smart move, man. But yeah, for me, that was like one that whole ask. I was like literally market every day. I would wake up. The first thing I would go on HasLab with a proton pack and where the Sky Striker was and where the Rancor was, and it was just like, oh my god, it was good. It was a good time. As far as movies for me, I'm gonna name the best movies that I saw in 2021. Number one, Suicide Squad, the remake. I had a great time watching it. that's all I gotta say. I think we spoke about it on one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad was amazing. That's definitely one of the movies. Spider-Man: Homecoming. That was another one. It's amazing, amazing. Now, here's a little one that I don't think people have seen on Netflix. Sandra Bullock, Unforgivable. For those of you who have not seen that, Sandra Bullock plays a woman that comes out of prison because she killed a police officer, or did she? And in the movie, she's trying to find her sister that was taken away from her. Unbelievable performance from Sandra Bullock. Actually made me cry. So Unforgivable was awesome, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. So the best movies that I saw were Suicide Squad, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Unforgivable, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. I don't know about you, Aaron, but what were some movie highlights for you in 2021?
So I don't know about 2021 because because of COVID and everything, we didn't go to the movies until recently, and we saw Spider-Man: Homecoming, or Spider-Man, right? No, it's not Spider-Man Homecoming. Is it? No, Far From Home.
Spider-Man: Far From Home, yeah.
Yeah. I don't home, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Spider-Man going home.
We saw it in 2022 after it was released for quite some time, and that was a fun or funny movie experience. We walk in, and it's like you pay for your tickets at this little kiosk. There's one kid working the popcorn stand, and he reeks of marijuana. He was about 10 minutes late. And it's just, it looks like a post-apocalyptic movie theater, because half of the concession stand is like empty, and there's like popcorn everywhere, and it was like a mess.
Aaron, you know what it looked like? It looked like the beginning of Terminator 2. You
it
know,
did.
like the war.
It was crazy. And then we get in there, and we were one of, I think, 10 people in the entire movie theater, because it was obviously the movie had been out for quite some time at that point. So, we just were like, okay, let's go on a Sunday afternoon. And it was something out of like an apocalypse movie, like when in Zombieland, when it's like just the four of them watching the movie in Bill Murray's mansion. It's like, that's what we felt like. It was like, okay, this is really, really strange. And then we watched Ghostbusters Afterlife recently, because it just came out on DVD. So we were able to stream it at home, because like I said, we didn't go to the movies at all last year. So those were the two that I've watched.
Well, like, I gotta say this, and I told this to my brother. Me and my brother went and we saw Spider-Man in the movie theaters. And when we came out, he looked at me, he goes, "What do you think?" And I'm like, I kind of like this more than Ghostbusters Afterlife. And that's me coming from a Ghostbuster fan.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not to say that Ghostbusters Afterlife was not a good movie. I thought that, Jason Reitman did a great job. Like Egon, Force Ghost Egon looked like good. Like I was like, wow, he actually looks like Egon Spangler. But I will say this. It felt more of a drama, kind of. There was comedy in it. Okay, I'm not gonna say there wasn't any comedy in it, but there was a certain different feel with this Ghostbusters movie. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying, Aaron? There was like a different feel to it. Like,
there wasn't as many punchlines. I mean, there was comedy involved, but it wasn't like I don't know. It wasn't like the first two. But
no, yeah.
I'm glad, and I told my wife this. I'm glad that Egon didn't talk. They didn't use his voice.
Same here.
They didn't use Harold Ramis's voice, which I'm glad that they chose not to do that. But again, going back on that conversation we had earlier in the podcast, how long are they going to use his likeness? Is he going to appear? Well, he dissipated. At that part, I don't know. It was kind of comical. I joked around to my wife. I was like, it was like Casper. He doesn't have any more unfinished business, so he's done. Like he completed his unfinished business. So yeah, I was kind of chuckling at myself at that, and I was like, oh yeah, but could they potentially use his likeness again? Like I would hope that they don't, because they've kind of closed that chapter. But I don't know.
So there was this whole debate online, Aaron, and like in the beginning of the movie, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, we see a big explosion coming from Shandor's mind, and it's the proton pack, the streams. You can see it from far away. Then Egon's in the truck. He starts limping towards the house. He tries to open the trap. The trap doesn't work. He sits in front. Now, the PKE meter that he has is that taser meter. So there was this whole debate going back and forth. They even asked Jason Reitman, where did Egon die by the Sentinel Terror Dog, or did he kill himself and gave himself a heart attack with the taser? And that's the whole thing where everybody's trying to figure out, because we don't see that. We don't see how he became a ghost. In order to become a ghost, obviously, you have to die. But you saw it in his hand. When he hit it, the two taser things came up.
Yeah.
He didn't taser the Sentinel Dog. So people are asking, did Egon commit suicide?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I didn't really think too much about that. I saw the PKE meter was different with the taser on it, but like, yeah, because I was curious about that too, because you kind of saw the
Sentinel Dog ghost. Yeah, like.
Well, whatever it was, fly away, and I was like, oh, was that Egon flying away, or was that the ghost? Because it was reminiscent of, the Ghostbusters 1, where Dana gets grabbed, by the ghost, but Dana still was alive when she got grabbed by the dog, in the armchair. She came back. She was obviously possessed, but but she was still alive.
Right.
So it's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably something we're never going to find out. Again, I enjoyed the movie. It felt different. I think Jason Reitman did a good job. My favorite scene out of that movie, because we've never seen this in the Ghostbusters movie, was that Ecto-1 car chase following the ghost.
Absolutely.
That was... Wow, I had such a great time watching that scene. Just watching the Ecto take turns, and then like that big wide shot of them out in the field, and you see them like with the ghost right in front of them in the air, and they're trying to trap it. We've only seen that in the 80s cartoons. We've never seen that in the Ghostbusters movie.
Right. Yeah. With the jump seat, that was always in the cartoons, and so, and even with the toy, the toy that we got in the 80s, obviously the new one, Ecto, that's been released, they added the jump seat. They put the jump seat on top of the car on the toy, but like it was never that way. So like to see the jump seat being used, it was like, all right, cool, this is it. Definitely. And I freaked out when that happened too. The one thing I didn't like about that scene was when Podcast automatically knows how to use every piece of machinery. Like, I was like, how does he know how to control the little ghost trap? How does he know what buttons do what? Like, obviously he's got Ray's goggles on,
Right.
But like, I'm like, you just know how to use. I understand, like, I give my son a tablet or an iPod or whatever, iPad. He'll pick it up in 5 minutes and know how to use it all and whatever, and probably teach me a few things. You're not giving
your son a proton pack.
Right. Like I'm not giving him, a little remote control car. I'm sure if I gave my son a remote control car right now, he'd crash it about 30 times before he figures out how to use it properly. So that was the one thing we can, my wife and I looked at each other and we're like, how does he know how to like use all this technology? I know he's good with technology, but like it was like you just know how to use this stuff that was created 30 years ago.
Unless Egon left them like one of those, like when you get hired for a job, one of those training videos like, "Hi, I'm Egon Spangler, and now that you're a ghost."
They just get in the car because the brother, right, Finn Wolfhard's character ends up, I think that's his name, ends up fixing the car. So they just get into the car. So like he's like, I'm in the car, there's a ghost, let's go. Yep, I have all this technology. That was the only part that I was like, man, I don't know, but
Yeah. You know, a lot of people were bummed out that Slimer wasn't in this movie. You know, but I have a feeling because you saw the end credit scene, right?
yeah,
So it's funny how they left the song at the end, the Ghostbusters theme song, when you see the Ecto going into New York, then the original song with the original logo plays. But what I'm hearing is that Ernie Hudson, and you know, I am so glad that this is happening to him because Ernie Hudson was always left out of the posters, left out of the DVD covers, left out of the VHS covers. Like he was always left out of everything, and now he's getting his due diligence. You know,
yeah,
like they're saying he's gonna be the new not Tony Stark, but the new Nick Fury of the Ghostbusters universe, where he's gonna take over the mantle and he's gonna train the next generation. Because at the end of that film, what do we see? We see the containment unit glowing, and there's a little red button going on the containment unit.
yeah,
And it's funny because in part one, the containment unit explodes. Then they part two comes out and they fix the containment unit.
yeah.
They've been out of business for a long time, the Ghostbusters, and now we see that little red blinking dot. So who knows? Who knows what's next for this franchise? But I'm really looking forward to it. So
Well, they brought back Gozer. Maybe they're gonna bring back Vigo.
I, I've been seeing that, but I'll be honest with you, Aaron. I hope they don't. I
No,
want to
I
see
don't.
something.
Well, I hope they don't either. But like seeing Gozer, I was like, like obviously it's Gozer, but like I was just
Right,
like, other than the Muncher ghost, like
right.
they're really, I don't know. But that's what franchises are doing. Franchises are trying to reconnect, just like Star Wars, just like all the other franchises. So they're bringing things back where we, as 30, 40-year old,
Right.
adults are going to
Kids.
connect. Yeah, kids are going to connect to that, and then have our kids experience something new to where we can relate and tell them about, oh well, this is the person that was in the original Ghostbusters, so now let's go back and watch the original Ghostbusters together.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. So yeah, man, that's how it felt, man, and I'm glad hearing your insights too, Aaron. I think we're both on the same page. But before we leave here, I just want to talk about really quick the new Spider-Man film. I'm giving it a 10.
Yeah,
I'm just giving them a 10. What about you, Aaron?
yeah, I think you can't not give it a 10. I mean, with everything that they put into it and everything that they hid in it, I mean, I was watching Easter eggs and all this other stuff that happened in the movie that I didn't even catch. Um, it was impressive. Just one of the Easter eggs that I just was blown away by was when Doctor Strange contains the spell in the you know the little
Yeah.
device. It's a heck, or it's a whatever. It's either 5 sides or 6 sides. I think it's five. And he goes, you changed the spell 5 times. And I was like, just that little like
Oh,
tidbit,
right,
you know,
right.
it's 5 sides. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like for them to go that deep into it. And like when he said, oh, I thought you changed it 6. He's like, no, I only changed it 5. Well, the other thing, was that Doctor Strange was going to change it a 6th time so that he would remember Peter Parker. That was going to be the 6th change.
Oh, I
But
see.
just that it was changed 5, and that little piece of, whatever that ball was that contained the spell had 5 sides in it. I thought that was fantastic. There's
Yeah, that
so
was a,
many there's so many hidden things, so
I
many,
know, I
the
know.
the shadows or the images during that
Ellen?
scene,
Yes.
where the spell's coming, and everybody that knows who Peter Parker is, there was a breakdown that you could see, like Scorpion, you could
Yes.
see Craven the Hunter,
Yep.
you could see, Black Cat. I
Yeah,
can't. There was
yeah.
a couple more, but like just those hidden little things that were in the scenes, it just kept on going on and on and on.
That movie was like so amazing, especially that one scene that you're talking about, Aaron. Because in the movie theaters, I'm looking up, and me and my brother, first of all, we went at noon, and the theater was packed, like it was like the first showing of the day.
Right.
And it's funny because the girl at the ticket counter, she's like, "Well, this show's been sold out for the whole day," and we went at noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Like it's all sold out, and I
Yeah.
was just amazed by. In that one scene, I'm looking up, my neck's killing me. I need Ben Gay for my neck because like I'm all the way in the front, and I'm seeing like, oh my god, look at all these shadows. One of my favorite moments, and a lot of people didn't pick up on this, was when Spider-Man is fighting Doctor Strange outside over the box, over the gauntlet, whatever, and Strange hits Spider-Man, but you see the little like lines over his head, when he's like in danger or something.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange is like, "How did you do that?" Because he like blocked, but he knew, like.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my!" I was fanboy. I was like a huge fanboy. I was just like, "This is crazy." They just added the lines. And I asked my brother, "Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that?" He's like, "Yeah. Look what they just did." I'm like, "This is awesome. I've never seen it in a Spider-Man movie before."
Right. Yeah. The Spidey sense, you actually get to
Yeah.
see which was in the cartoon all the time,
Right.
the little bzz, bzz.
Right.
And I think with the introduction of the Enter the Spider-Verse, and
Yes.
obviously there's going to be a new one of those coming out soon.
Right.
I think that, who knows, maybe we'll see the bzz, bzz, little bit, the Spidey sense a little bit
Yeah.
more.
This movie, it touched my heart. One of the saddest things was at the end when he was crying with she's not Mary Jane, but
Well,
what's the
and
girl's
yeah,
name? Is it Mary Jane? Okay.
well, yeah, MJ. I mean,
MJ,
yeah,
MJ,
yeah,
MJ, yeah. At the end when they're crying and he's telling her like, "Listen, I'm gonna have to like erase your memory, like we're
yeah,
not gonna." Oh, please come back, and then like they hug and all that, and then like he walks back into that cafe at the end. Spoiler alert, everybody! He walks into the cafe at the end, and there she is. There's his best friend, and he has a letter. And in that moment, he has to tell himself, like, am I gonna let these people still be in danger because they're friends with me?
right.
And he makes that choice, like, they're better off without me. And that touched my heart because, like, that's like me, Aaron, and it's like you and Dave. And for those that don't know, Dave's like our one of our really great friends that sells us toys and stuff. And it's like, wow, I have to walk away from these guys because, like, I don't want anything to happen to these guys,
Right.
I don't know. That one scene was like really tough, man. And then like what I love about it is that now they set up back to original Spider-Man. He's a kid. He lives in an apartment complex that he can't afford with roaches running around. You know what I'm saying? He's back. He's back to this kid, and it's like the way they set up these three films was for this. Was for like he's back to just being Peter Parker, living in an apartment, and they're studying it all over again.
Yeah.
It was just amazing the way they did this. Amazing, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he doesn't make that decision to not tell her until he sees the Band-Aid, and he's like, well, the last time I was with her, she got hurt. I don't want her getting hurt anymore, but the cool thing in that, and this was in that Easter egg, she's still wearing the Black Dahlia necklace that he got her in France, I believe, in the previous movie where he fights Mysterio, that it gets broken. She's wearing that necklace.
Right. All right.
So she
I didn't pick
has,
that up.
yeah, she still knows that necklace is important, but she doesn't have a memory of why it's important, but she's still wearing that necklace. So,
Wow.
yeah, in
How
that
did
scene,
I not pick that up?
it was
Wow.
it was pretty cool. I mean, and that's again the little things that they put into the movie that like are fantastic. But yeah, I mean, it's funny though now because Tobey Maguire got his trilogy.
Right.
Obviously, the new trilogy just came out, but Andrew Garfield never got the third Amazing Spider-Man. So now all the fans are calling, oh well, Andrew Garfield needs his third movie. And so it was funny. I saw him post a tweet or something on Instagram. He's like, "Where were you guys 10 years ago? Like where were all the Spider-Man fans 10 years ago? Like come on, like we knew that the Amazing Spider-Man 3 needed to come out, but
Right.
they just the fans weren't there for it yet. So it was kind of funny that like now they're calling for like we need to go back and finish the trilogy of Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
And I have a feeling that because this movie did so well for Disney and everybody that and Sony, like they're definitely working with something with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. They actually said that they are gonna bring them back into something else. So
Yeah, and it was
like,
funny that they mentioned Tobey Maguire's back issue because he almost didn't play Spider-Man because he got injured on Seabiscuit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seabiscuit, right? He fell off the horse or something happened.
Yeah,
in
he
that
got
movie,
injured
so-
really bad, and he was up front and said, "Look, I don't know if I could play Spider-Man because of this back injury." And it's like, and they kind of made a nod to that in the movie, like, "Oh, my back," and Andrew Garfield like cracks his back, and it's like, oh, like that's kind of cool that they threw that in there.
Yeah, I felt like the acting and camaraderie between those three actors was just amazing. Like it felt like they've been in these movies, the last three movies together the whole time, Like
Yeah,
it didn't feel like they were left out of it, man. It just felt so great watching because man, I'm gonna turn 40, next month, and I'm just like, wow, I remember when the first Spider-Man movie came out in like what 2002, 2000,
yeah.
like it was like early, like, and here we are, like 2022, like this Spider-Man movie, like, oh my God, I just can't believe it's been like that long,
Yeah.
and now we're seeing Tobey Maguire, man. Like I loved it. Again, I give that movie a 10. Aaron agrees with me, and Aaron, thank you for picking up those little things that I didn't even notice the whole necklace thing,
Yeah, I don't know the YouTube creator, but I'm sure you could just go on YouTube and type in like Spider-Man Easter eggs, whatever, and it was like a 30-minute or 40-minute video, and he just went through the whole movie, and he talked about the Spidey sense, he talked about every little Easter egg that was in this movie, and it took 30 or 40 minutes to explain all the Easter eggs or all of the memorable moments or things that actually tied into whatever, like the necklace. And I was just like, there's so much, it's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
For somebody to take their time and do that, to give that to us so we can know,
Yeah.
like kudos to that person, because that's a lot of hard work, man, just to look at all these Easter eggs. So
Yeah.
that's definitely awesome, man. But man, I gotta say, there was so much stuff I wanted to talk about, and we've been going for like 2 hours now. But like, I wish that we had more time. But we're back, guys. We're back. We're back. Yes, it's been a long time. It's been 10 months. You heard the rap song in the beginning. Buy the album. I have a new song with Aaron coming out. It's called Buy That Toy. Check out that new song. No, I'm just joking. But it just feels good to be back here, Aaron, with you, and like talk about all the things that we love, from toys to video games to comic books to all this pop culture stuff, man. And like I'm really excited. And I want to leave off with like expectations for us for 2022. And for me, one of my goals for 2022, especially because we got the flea market happening again, is I'm trying to focus more on retro action figures this upcoming year.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to focus more on the retro stuff. I've noticed that like when I was buying some of these toys for like, let's say $65, like modern toys, and not to say I don't love modern toys like NECA, Super 7 and all that, but hey, I could have bought like a mask other vehicle for like that price.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm really starting to dive a little bit more on the retro stuff. So one of my goals for me when it comes to this whole pop culture thing is like really diving in 2022, more into like some retro stuff, like getting into GoBots more. I'm trying to get the GoBot Puzzler. I think that combiner looks amazing, that Puzzler, man. Trying to pick up a Devastator, finally a G1 Devastator complete. Just focusing on that more. I don't know about you, Aaron, but what is like some of your goals in this whole pop culture realm that we call, for 2022?
Yeah, I think about the same, like I'd like to complete a few of the lines, like like I think I'm only missing about 10 or so Battle Beasts, from the line. Obviously I'm missing a bunch of accessories, but just to complete that line, I think would be good. You know, finding those hard to find pieces, like I showed you today. You know, we didn't get a chance to talk about it a lot, but I did complete one of the Thundercats figures that I've been, you know, hoping to complete. It was the Rotaro variant. It was the black weapon variant versus the silver weapon. So like I completed that today. I was able to pick up one piece from Dave last year, and then I bought the other one off of eBay this past, you know, week. You know, I just focusing. I'd like to get more advertising pieces. I always think that the advertising pieces are cool. Last year, I can't remember, I guess it was last year, I picked up those Ninja Turtles cardboard cutouts from Secret of the Ooze, and
Yeah,
one
dude.
piece of the original.
That was amazing.
I'd like to find more pieces like that. I like the way, because I mean they didn't survive, you know, the
Right.
cardboard cutouts. I have a few video game marquees, you know, they're plexiglass, but like, you know, a lot of the video, like when the arcades died, they just got thrown away or destroyed or whatever. So I like finding pieces that like there's not a lot of, you know.
Right.
And I think the cardboard, the display pieces, the, you know, the stuff that was put up in you know, storefronts or restaurants or whatever, you know, like I remember the Ninja Turtles coming out of their Shells tour. You know, I think that was a Pizza Hut promotion.
Yep.
You know, I'd like to find, you know, the pamphlet and stuff like that went. I have the cassette, but like I'd like to find the pamphlet. I mean, just things like that. I think focusing, because I mean, my collection's got out of hand over the past
Like every collector.
yeah. You know, so I mean, like, I'm pretty happy with the state of my collection. Obviously, it's fine tuning certain things. Obviously, there's Grail pieces that I would love to acquire, like a Thundercats layer, but like finding those are like slim to none unless you're gonna pay, you know, $1,500, which I don't want to pay that right now.
I'll tell you this right now, Aaron, and I feel this. You will find that Thundercats lair one day at the flea market. I don't know
Well,
why.
it depends on how much it is. I may find one, but you know, I mean, I found a Channel 6 news fan at the flea market, so like,
I
you
mean,
know,
yes. And we found, okay, really quick, one of the best awesome pickups at the flea market, at our local flea market. The Channel 6 news van, the Ecto Glows.
yeah,
What else? There was some epic finds though. Me, you, and Dave, we found some good figures, man, that are worth some money, man. Like,
yeah. I mean,
those Ecto Glows.
we've definitely found things that have been
Weapons?
valuable.
Loose weapons. That weapons box one time that you found that had all those weapons like in there, and I was just like, oh my god, like, you know, like, so, you know, I know that sometimes it could be hit or miss when we go flea marketing, but like I have a good feeling that hopefully this upcoming season, man, like we might just strike some gold. You never know. We might find that one box with like all our favorite 80s and 90s toys from this old lady. She's like, just give me $1.50, honey.
Well, that's where I found most of my food fighters. I mean, like a good majority. That's how I started my food fighter collection. Was I found a bag at the flea market and she had $5 on it, and I think there was about $150 worth of food fighters with their weapons and their backpacks and all that other stuff that was in there. So, I mean, it was pretty much the whole original line without the variants. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, the deals are out there. I mean, we found good things at the flea market, but it's just like, I think finding the things that you need or what. I mean, it's always fun. Because you never know what you're gonna find. And I mean, I still go to Savers and Goodwills, but it just seems like finding those, you know, key toys from the 80s are just slim to none, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know, it's always the thrill of the hunt and doing it with your friends. And I think that we've said this before, Aaron, that it's like getting with your friends, doing what you love to do, you know, going out there hunting, and you know, it's just fun, just the thrill of the hunt. Like, oh, look what I found! I can't believe I found this. You know, it's just like, it's fun to do, man. But man, listen, I'm glad that we're back. I'm so happy. It's been 10 months. We're back. Listen up, everybody. You can follow us on anchor.fm.com. You can listen to our audio podcast there. As a matter of fact, if you're new to this podcast, go back there, listen to our backlogs. You know, we have like so much amazing stuff. We also had a segment in the show called the Toy Aisle. Where we hooked up with two of the running members of Transformerland.com, and we got into Max and GI Joe and just a whole bunch of stuff. But you know, I'm looking forward to this year, man. I have a lot of stuff coming. Working on a new logo for us right now. Gonna fix up the intro, man. We got the rap song, and you know what? I'm just glad that I'm here with my co-host Aaron, and that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Aaron, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here, man?
No, I think you said it all. It is great to be back. Like I said, stay tuned. We got a lot of big things planned, so got a lot of future shows coming up. And yeah, it was a long hiatus. We're not doing that again, and we're back.
And with that, we're out of here. The Cereal Box Prize Podcast, the podcast that serves you 3 scoops of pop culture.